Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Dezignful. I haven't posted a video on YouTube in, a long time. It's usually just like montages or whatever, but this is highly requested. I mean, everybody knows that I've tried everything. I look for any competitive advantage in the game. I've tried every controller that there is. Hall effect sticks, non-Hall effect sticks, PlayStation, Xbox, Battle Beaver, Scuff, Turtle Beach, Astro. What I'm still on currently, the Astro. Um, yeah, I'm gonna kind of go through just everything you need to know about controller and controller senses. I'm gonna start off with one of the most important things, I guess, is picking frames. We're gonna go with the overalls, picking frames. You see a lot of pros playing 240. I think it all depends on the loadout and what you're trying to do. I think on controller it's best to on controller you have a blind spot, you know? Like no matter how T you can be, you're gonna have a blind spot, and it's all about minimizing that blind spot. And a lot of players increase up to 240 FPS, to make their game a little bit faster, make their aim a little bit faster. Um, the game just feels smoother. But in my opinion, 138 is better. I think 240 might be a little bit better when it comes to close range SMGs and like mid range, a little bit into the mid range with like ARs and stuff. But I mean, on 138 you can super glide. You have you just have like a lot more control over the game. It just feels kind of like a slower pace. You have more control over it. But what I ended up doing, I've been trying to. I did not want to swap to 240, so I've been testing a bunch of different things. Trying to figure out what makes 138 feel the best, because for some reason, like the window of the AA just feels, I don't know, it feels so much better on 138. Like the long range guns, all the snipers, the DMRs, the Peter, the Scout, Sentinel, Longbow, all those snipers that I use that I hit crazy clips with, the Wingman, all those single shot weapons just feel so much better on 138, where you kind of give up a little bit of the full auto weapons. So it's kind of just, increasing your skill cap while also decreasing your blind spot. And yeah, I mean, it's all preference. You could like 240 more, but I feel like the grab and on the window is just way easier for long range. Going into the next thing, you want to pick an FOV. This is also very important. The higher you go with FOV, the less recoil you're gonna get in a game like Apex, where it's called you recoil smoothing when you're moving left and right. You're just gonna have less recoil on a higher FOV. When I swapped over to not PlayStation. When I swapped from PlayStation, I was on 98, I believe. Came to PC, I swapped to 102, went up to 104, to 106, to 108, to 110, back to 108, then back to 106, because I feel like it's kind of like an in between. If you feel like you're lacking in your close range, but your long range is really well, maybe bump it up to 108. But I felt like my long range is just so much more consistent on 106. You're giving up a little bit of that close range though. So what I did to combat that was I'm actually using not a KontrolFreek, because on linear you don't want a KontrolFreek. It raises your stick almost too. There's a sweet spot with how high you want to raise your stick. You want your stick raised enough to where you have enough leverage over it to where you can move left and right fast, but you also don't want to give up your range of motion by using that extended thumbstick. You want to be able to hit full 360 very, very quickly and easily. So I'm ending up like I'm using a thumbstick cap. It kind of raises it about 1 millimeter to 2 millimeters. I think the lowest KontrolFreek, the low-rise KontrolFreeks are 4 millimeters. And I mean, that all depends on your controller, but I wouldn't recommend going higher with your thumbstick. I would recommend going wider. So I'll put the link in the video on. I'll put all these resources in the description of the video. but I use a wider right thumbstick now. That has kind of helped with the close range and like the smoothness of tracking without having to go up to 240 or any of that. And yeah. So also you're gonna want to pick your video or your aspect ratio. A lot of my friends, we kind of tested. We went back and forth between native and stretched. I don't really know. I was more consistent. All of us were like more consistent on stretched. We liked it more. I don't know why some people like native. I played native on classic, but I do really like stretched on linear. But the thing is you want to put your native desktop. For the longest time, I had my native desktop on this same to match it, so like my second monitor wouldn't bug out and the programs wouldn't move. But that's gonna mess your graphics up, and your game's gonna look like dog ass. So just leave your desktop on 69. Leave your native desktop on that, and then just make the game in stretched. It'll move your like second monitor stuff, but for graphics quality, that's the best way to do it. All right, next thing we're gonna get into, once you figure all that, you want to go into NVIDIA Reflex. You run NVIDIA Reflex, but anything you have in game is going to be overridden by whatever you have in what is it? Your NVIDIA control panel. So I play enabled on actual in game, but I play ultra in control panel. I have no idea. I just don't put ultra enable plus boost in here because I had like problems before, and I don't know. I just enabled feels better to me. Yeah, I play ultra on in my control panel. Back into it. I'm just gonna go through every single little setting that I've tweaked and what I've found out to be the best. So I have shadows on right now because I was messing with my video settings when I was showing you guys, but I usually have them off. But apparently, I don't know if it makes a difference, but apparently if you have them on, you're able to see through bang smokes easier. I haven't tested it. If anybody does know, leave a comment. On top of all of that, though, I would definitely keep small on everything. Smallest dead zone you can. If you can't run none, you can run small. I ran small for about a month, but it's honestly linear is all about just getting used to the drift. You know, making it work with you than against you. But every single controller is made differently. So you're gonna get a controller that drifts upwards. You're gonna get a controller that drifts right. You're gonna get a controller that drifts down. Every single one you're gonna. That's why you don't see a lot of pros switch controllers often. They like to ride it out for as long as they can. They'll run a broken controller before swapping to a new one. You never know how they're going to drift. Everyone's made differently. So yeah, I mean, if you could just get used to your controller drift, it'll be a little bit of a headache. It took me, you know, it makes me a little nauseous whenever I'm breaking in a new roller, getting used to a new drift. But none is definitely just the best because it just, if anybody slide jumps in front of your screen, it just auto just grabs them. You see how much pull I get there? Instead of if I was on none or small. See, it still gets the grab, but it's not pulling as hard, you know? And you're just slower with reaction. None feels just the most fluid once you get used to small. Once you get really used to small and you try none, you're gonna hate it, but it's gonna be so much easier for you to swap to none. And once you just commit to it, you kind of just gotta commit to it. The long range is a little weird. Your close range will feel really good, but the long range is the hardest part. Is where you have to make your drift your best friend, I guess, in a way. And with the way I aim, the entire secret to linear is just feeling that pull. As soon as that pull hits, and then aiming with it. You just gotta. It's all just raw aim. It's basically like mouse and keyboard, but with your thumb instead of your hand and your arm. And you get you know, a little bit of aimbot with it. So you just gotta feel that pull and then just work with it, you know. Figure out how much you have to, because there is that slowdown window. So figure out how much you have to micro adjust in that little window. And then on top of that, here's all of the secret settings that I have found out a little bit. It's a little weird. You're not going to feel it as much on certain controllers as others, but you still will feel it just a little bit. So basically every time you launch your game of Apex, your ALCs are on this. If you don't go into here and touch anything, your ALCs are all 0. This is what it is. It's basically like I didn't touch it. Feels the exact same. But what I end up doing is I go into here every time I launch the game. I leave it at this, and then every time I launch the game, I'll just move the slider once. You're just gonna move a slider in here, and then it'll kick in. There's a slight little bleed through that kicks in. I don't know. This feels just a little bit faster to me. It's felt best to me. I've been doing it for a month or so now, a couple months, and I've been fucking beaming with it. It all depends on whatever everyone wants to do, what you want to do. It's not really changing your sense at all. It does make it actually a little bit faster, but it's very small. It's very minuscule. You'll feel it, and then if you change these and mess around with it, it'll change your like the window that you get. You know, it'll make it like it won't change the window, but it'll change how much it slows down, which, you know, sometimes it just is a little too annoying. It slows down too much. You can't fucking move your aim. So this has ended up what's just felt best to me. For optics, I don't use these. There's bugs with them when you ADS. They just cause inconsistencies. I tried them for about a week, and I would have really crazy gunfights, but like every like 10th gunfight, it's just there's like an ADS bug with it, so I would not mess with those. And then these per optics, all of these also bleed, no matter if they're on or off. It's just like the ALCs. So this is what I'm running. This is what has felt best to me. I don't know if it's felt best to me. I don't really like to fuck with them because it does tweak my aim a little bit. I don't know. This is what I had just on a classic, so I just kind of just left it. And yeah, so anything you change in here, even just from being on default, if you have this all on default, that still feels different than if you just go over here and put it on default over here. I don't know, it's weird. Don't ask me. I don't open this once I open the game. Kind of just leave it like how I said. I move the slider in here. I don't move that slider. I don't fuck with that at all. I just leave that how it is, because any of those settings that you're opening up, you are changing your sense. It will bleed in, and it will feel a little bit different. That is the knowledge I've gained from the spaghetti-o coding of Apex Legends. You know, it's a little interesting. But yeah, I mean, that's just, you know, that's all the information, all the secret sauces that I've been working on, that I teased a little bit on Twitter. There's a lot of shit that goes into your sense, you know. If you take certain things and mix and match them, they're not gonna feel as well. It all depends on your controller. It all depends on the controlling rate of your controller, what frames you play. Everything kind of plays into one another, and there's like kind of like a golden sense, if you may, on each that you kind of just gotta mess with. I felt that 138 just feels the most consistent to me, but my tracking wasn't as good as other controller players. My aim always looked a little stiff, you know, with tracking, but my like wingman and repeater and my long range was. I would diff them at like the long range, but once they got closer, you know, I would kind of have to like play it really weird. I'd have to play a certain way around the box because I couldn't track left and right as fast. So that's kind of what I ended up using the little thumbstick cat for. Yeah, that is all of the secret sauces I know. It's kind of like everything that, you know, plays into your controller sense. And take what you learn from this and mess around, figure out what you like. In the end, this only accounts for probably about 30% of your gameplay, you know, aiming. The other 30% would be, you know, team communication, and then the other 40% is just game IQ, you know. And you're gonna train game IQ by solo queuing ranked, team communication by playing TDMs with your lads, and then mechanics you can grind R5 for, or just solo queue ranked. Solo queue ranked is all around the best form of practice. When it comes to controller, and just kind of getting all those attributes up that play into it. But yeah, signing out. There's the Krabby Patty secret formula, and pretty much everything you need to know. Bottom line for controller. If you have any questions, you always stop and stream. I talk about this shit all the time. I don't gatekeep any of this knowledge. I'm always telling you guys what I know, what I find out, and you could also drop a comment. I will look at that as well. But hope you guys have a good one and start frying harder. Take care.